Good day, everyone. Today we are going to talk about pipe safety API layer project, GSOC project, which aims to introduce a proof of concept to enhance the API layer within Finrect project. Just as a disclaimer, this project is not a drop-in replacement for the current working API layer, and it's not introducing all functionalities like the old one do. So in our midterm showcase, we explored this execution flow before. We said that Finrect is utilizing CQRS architectural pattern, which separate queries from commands into two separate execution flows. The queries is relatively simple. It's just hit the API layer, make sure the client is authorized to retrieve the data, and inject the read service, which take the data from database and use JSON library to serialize and return the response to the client. On the other hand, the command have some more mechanics, which introduce some three intermediate services related to some sourcing for the command we send to the API, handle some stuff like handle idempotency, guarantees that we are in isolated environment and no conflict, and other stuff listed here. Then we just inject the right platform service, which do the same like read platform and return the response. But here we store the data we want to store. So we showed the issues. We have some problems in the current execution flow. We store the incoming request body as JSON, which make us lose all type of information and make us force us to use a lot of helper classes and methods, which is a lot of boilerplate code that need to be maintained. And also we are mixing some access control logic and make it tightly coupled with the business logic with no separation of concerns. And also, finally, we have usage for some old libraries that's not well integrated with the Spring ecosystem, like JAX-RS for the API, and using JSON library for processing the JSON, and avoid using the de facto standard for the Spring, which is Jackson. So our goals is basically to eliminate all this stuff we mentioned. We need to find a good replacement for the old libraries, like using Spring Web MVC, which is integrated has some better integration with the Spring ecosystem. We should make some configuration for handling the security logic and avoid this coupling between it and the business logic. And also we should move to use DTOs to avoid any losing for type information instead of using JSON, and of course using the de facto standard, which is Jackson. So here is the proposed solution we talk about, but in some details. For the implementation plan, we said that we are going to we have read requests, which is queries as CQRS said, and we are separating read requests from write requests. So we start enhancing read requests as it's just relatively simple. We introduced a proposal on the mailing list and showed a BR which with some discussions on GitHub. It's a basic one. It's not containing a lot of changes. Just make use of Jackson and return the DTO directly, and also centralize the security logic without repeating the security method included. On the write request, we introduced also a proposal link on the mailing list and make a BR which is squashed with the read request BR. Here is a new execution flow. The previous one we showed was using JSON library here. Instead, we are using Jackson. For each API layer, we was using some security logic that is buried in the API layer here or in the intermediate services here. But in our new execution flow, we just make a centralized place to make sure that the client is authorized to fetch or write the data he wants to execute. On the other hand, for the write requests, we replace the three intermediate services with just basic two, and apply some similar logic like the old ones. and remove the redundant logic like the API query info and some filters are not fully applied, as this is just a proof of concept. And the remain is the same. Also for services like write service and read service, there are some enhancements in the logic itself, rewriting it to avoid some headaches that we were doing on the database, and some general improvements in the implementation level. I think that's all related to the new execution flow.